If Part 1 introduced rosemary as a plant steeped in history and tradition, Part 2 takes us into the laboratory where modern science is uncovering how this ancient herb interacts with the human brain. And the deeper we look, the more fascinating the story becomes. Because rosemary doesn't just smell invigorating, it doesn't just taste stimulating, it actually contains compounds that interact with your brain chemistry in measurable, scientifically documented ways. So, let's explore what researchers have discovered and why rosemary's effects on memory and cognition go far beyond folklore. The science of scent. How rosemary aroma affects the brain. One of the most surprising findings in rosemary research is this: simply smelling rosemary can improve cognitive performance. In controlled studies, participants exposed to rosemary aroma performed visual processing tasks and serial subtraction tasks faster and more accurately than those in unscented environments. But how can a scent influence the brain so directly? The answer lies in the way aromatic molecules travel. When you inhale rosemary's essential oils, tiny volatile compounds, especially 1,8 cineole, enter the nasal cavity and stimulate the olfactory system. This system is directly connected to the limbic system, the part of the brain involved in memory, emotion, attention, learning. Unlike other senses, smell has a direct neural pathway to the brain's emotional and memory centers. That's why scents can trigger vivid memories, and why rosemary's aroma can influence cognitive performance almost instantly. But there's more. Researchers found that the higher the concentration of rosemary aroma, the greater the improvement in both speed and accuracy during cognitive tasks. This suggests a dose-dependent effect, at least when it comes to scent. So, the next time you walk past a rosemary bush and catch that sharp, pine-like aroma, your brain might actually be getting a tiny performance boost. Rosemary consumption. Why low doses help and high doses don't. A second line of research looks at what happens when rosemary is consumed rather than inhaled. In one study involving older adults, researchers found that a low dose of dried rosemary powder significantly improved memory speed. But here's the twist. Higher doses did not improve memory, and in some cases, performance actually declined. This is a crucial point for anyone considering rosemary supplements. Why would a small amount help, but a large amount hinders? Scientists believe the answer lies in the complex chemistry of rosemary. At low doses, compounds like 1,8 cineole and rosmarinic acid may enhance neurotransmitter activity and blood flow. But at higher doses, rosemary's stimulating compounds, including camphor, may become overwhelming, leading to overstimulation, jitteriness, reduced task accuracy, impaired concentration. This inverted U-shaped curve is common in herbal medicine. A little helps, too much harms. We'll explore safe usage in Part 3, but for now, the takeaway is simple. More rosemary is not always better. The neurochemistry of rosemary. How its compounds work. To understand rosemary's cognitive effects, we need to look at its key bioactive compounds, especially 1,8 cineole and carnosic acid. 1. 1,8 cineole, the memory molecule. 1,8 cineole is a terpene found in rosemary's essential oils. It has a sharp, eucalyptus-like scent and a remarkable effect on the brain. According to research summarized in The Conversation, 1,8 cineole helps prevent the breakdown of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter essential for learning and memory. Acetylcholine is the same neurotransmitter targeted by many Alzheimer's medications. By slowing its breakdown, rosemary may help improve memory retention, enhance learning, support attention and focus. maintain cognitive performance as we age. This doesn't mean rosemary is a treatment for Alzheimer's, but it does mean its mechanisms overlap with well-established neurological pathways. 2. Carnosic acid, the brain's antioxidant shield. Another major compound in rosemary is carnosic acid, a potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent. Research highlighted by the conversation shows that carnosic acid helps protect brain cells from oxidative stress, one of the major drivers of cognitive decline and neurodegenerative diseases. Oxidative stress damages neurons over time, contributing to memory loss, reduced cognitive speed, age-related decline, increased risk of dementia. Carnosic acid acts like a shield, neutralizing harmful free radicals before they can damage brain tissue. Even more fascinating, researchers have developed a stable form of carnosic acid called diacetyl, which activates only in inflamed brain regions and has shown promise in preclinical studies for reducing Alzheimer's-related proteins. This is cutting-edge science, and rosemary is at the center of it. Rosemary and blood flow. Oxygen for the brain. Another mechanism highlighted in research is rosemary's ability to stimulate blood circulation, including to the brain. Better blood flow means more oxygen, more nutrients, better waste removal, improved mental clarity. This may explain why rosemary has historically been associated with alertness and focus. When your brain receives more oxygen, cognitive performance naturally improves. Rosemary and stress, the indirect pathway to better memory. Memory isn't just about neurons and neurotransmitters. It's also about your emotional state. Stress, anxiety, and poor sleep all impair cognitive performance. Some studies suggest that rosemary's aroma has calming properties, reducing anxiety and improving sleep quality. Lower stress levels can indirectly support better concentration, improved recall, faster processing, more stable mood. This means rosemary may support cognition not only through direct biochemical pathways, but also through emotional regulation. So what does all this mean? When you combine all these mechanisms, a clear picture emerges. Rosemary supports the brain through multiple pathways at once. It enhances neurotransmitter activity. It protects neurons from oxidative damage. It improves blood flow. It reduces stress and anxiety. It boosts task accuracy and processing speed. It improves memory speed at low doses. This multi-layered effect is what makes rosemary so intriguing to researchers. But remember, these benefits depend on how you use rosemary and how much you use. In Part 3, we'll explore safe, evidence-based ways to incorporate rosemary into your daily life without crossing into harmful territory. Part 3 will cover safe ways to use rosemary. How much is beneficial? Forms of rosemary: fresh, dried, tea, tincture, essential oil. Who should avoid rosemary? Interactions with medications.